Alright, hello everyone, my name is Shep, welcome back to the Butcher's Circus, and today I'm gonna be playing with an old reliable comp. This is the Blazing Stress. This is a team that was meta about 1 or 2 years ago, quite a long time ago. It was quite the meta. People didn't really know how to beat it because it's just so efficient in how much protection, how much defense it has compared to the amount of stress output that it also has. It's quite a nice team. However, I'm gonna be playing against WD, played here by Oakenshield 444, which is a Darkest player, which I have not met before, so that's pretty nice. Now, I'm thinking of actually just clicking, but instead, I'm gonna start off with the Bellows. I think that WD really sucks if there's a Bellow bot Man at Arms with Pit Fighter Helm and Eerie, because I'm just gonna keep spamming Bellow after Bellow after Bellow, and your damage is gonna be slightly reduced. Of course, the R will still be able to get crit one-shots, but hopefully not too quickly. Oh, they're gonna go for the manacles on me. That's quite risky, but it will work because they get a crit on it, so... You know, what can I do, I guess? I'm already in a really rough spot here. My Abomination can die this very turn. I mean, the start of next round because of that. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but yeah... I mean, I do not get to go first either. My opponent got to go first, so I'm really in a rough spot here, let's be honest. Yeah, I'm in quite a terrible spot. All that needs to happen... Oh my god, they don't have Mark for Death? Look at this madman, and I went for the Grave Robber action. Oh, you dumbass. I thought they had Mark for Death. Why is this person not bringing Mark for Death? That's a huge misplay, but I misplay harder than them. Okay, I have to pray that the 54 dodge works. It does not work against the Come Hither, which is extremely unlucky, and it does not work against the Sniper Shot, which is also extremely unlucky. I cannot believe it. This person does not have Mark for Death, and I go for the Panic Darts. My reasoning behind it was just to apply DOT a little bit faster with that Bounty Hunter, but now I'm probably gonna lose the Queen. Please don't. Please don't. Ah, Jesus. It's just unbelievable. It's really unbelievable, because that never should have happened. That never should have happened. The stun should have whiffed on the Crusader. The pull should have whiffed. I had 54 dodge. The shot should have whiffed. It shouldn't have crit either. It's just ridiculous. The stun shouldn't have landed on the Abomination. Overall, just a really bad place for me to be in, but you know, what can I do? I just have to suck it up and keep on gaming. I do have a very good protection team, so maybe I can still win this. I will say it was an advantageous pick for me to have this team against WD, but well, maybe not anymore. I'm very surprised my opponent goes for the Rage there. That's definitely one of the plays in the Butcher Circus, to go for a Rage against 55 prot instead of trying to slam and, you know, just disrupt my characters. But yeah, no, well, you do you, I guess. They're gonna go for the Sniper Shot now, and it still hits for 13. Yeah, it freaking hurts, doesn't it? Well, I'm gonna, even with 2 battle debuffs, I'm gonna de-transform. Of course, the prot doesn't matter because they have Piercing Coral, but I'm gonna de-transform, go for the Smile. That's a very juicy crit, I love it. That's gonna mean that with the damage from the transform, with the crit, and with the retro, and with the spike chain, I have a lot of repulse damage right now. So if they try to hit into me, they're definitely going to suffer a fair bit. They're probably going to try to manacles here, but I'm hoping that I get the stun resistance or something of the likes. Are they going to count troops at this point? No, they're going to go Come Hither on my Man at Arms. Interesting. Well, in that case, I could guard for 80 prot, or I could just Bellow again. Yeah, just Bellow. Just Bellow, I think, is better. Just keep applying those damage debuffs. Of course, what my opponent can do here is just heal the Bellow debuffs on the Arbalest with their Crusader, and that'll be really good. Yeah, it's just so annoying that I don't have the Grave Robber, because she's able to just kill the Arbalest in like 4 turns. It really sucks that I don't have her. I'm surprised they go for the Flare here and not the Relic to the Flame. I think they want to do damage with the Abomination as well, but he's not really a big damage dealer against protection, but you never know. He has a crit buff, so he could still hurt me a fair bit with the setup my opponent has, but you know, 55 prot, 50 prot, it is difficult. Yeah, he only does 8 damage. It still stings, but it could sting more. If they go for the stun here, it's so greedy. No, they're gonna go for the Zealous. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. That does make sense. I'm gonna click and go for the immediate bellow, just to reduce the damage a little bit once again and apply an affliction as well. Of course, if they go courageous with the Crusader, it's beyond GG, so I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. Really hoping that doesn't happen. Or the Abomination, they can also go courageous. They have 2 virtue chances here. Yeah, as if one wasn't enough. They're gonna go for yet another rage. It's adding up. It is adding up to get a bleed on it as well. I'm forced to act here. I could Zealous, or I could go for a preemptive heal, honestly. Preemptive heal at this point doesn't really bring me anywhere. So let's go for the Zealous, hope for the Affliction. Masochistic, that's honestly not too helpful on the Abomination right now, but Crusader goes Masochistic as well, so 2 pretty much useless Afflictions. Okay. Useless for me, of course. Masochistic really doesn't have too many bad act-outs, and in a stress matchup, honestly. Yeah, self-mark, that's just how it is. Would have really loved like a fearful, a paranoid, a selfish, and irrational. Honestly, really anything but masochistic. Apart from no, even abusive would have been better here, actually. Masochistic really is the one thing I didn't want to have on my opponent's side, apart from virtues. So I guess I shouldn't complain too much. If my opponent had gotten virtues, yeah, it would be worse. It would definitely be worse. They did go for the Zealous there, but sadly for them it didn't really do enough damage, so that's unfortunate. But you know, Selchus with the Butcher Circus, and now the Abusive Bounty Hunter, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna go for the finisher? Yeah, not quite enough damage. I could click here preemptively and try to heal, but does that really bring me anywhere? I could go for one final Zealous before I die. Honestly, I think that's my best move. Yeah, as weird as it looks, I think it's my best move. Guarding's not gonna bring me anywhere because there's Slam. Healing here, I'm just gonna get Zealous, and it's as if my turn didn't exist. Just staying still means I get stunned, and I don't do anything with my turn, and I just die anyway, so I just go for a final Zealous. Hopefully do a bit of stress here and just try to win this way. I don't think I'll be winning this one, like, it is pretty close, but I just had to not click my grave over there. It is so odd. Who brings Uppercut and counters in WD? And I didn't punish it, and I'm gonna punish myself for it. Yes, this match is my punishment. Okay, de-transform into the bile, make sure that it stings, and yeah, it does sting. Okay, extra stress, nice, that's good. Maybe there is hope, just maybe there's a little bit of hope. Oh, if only these guys went like paranoid or irrational, it would be so good. Okay, it doesn't do enough damage, but it does get the stun, so that's unfortunate. Yeah, it means that he's probably dead soon. Kind of sucks, but well, let's go for yet another bellow here. The stress is adding up very nicely, but yeah, I just haven't been able to do enough to really take a character out, guaranteed. So that's really unfortunate. Maybe Hopeless gives us some passes. Yeah, Hopeless could be really bad here for my opponent. Another self-mark with Masochistic. I love it. Into a crit Zealous to get me afflicted. What affliction am I gonna get? Of course, I get Fearful. Hey, hooray for the Fearful. And Hopeless doesn't do anything. Thank you, Hopeless, for, you know, being what you are, I guess. Do I go for the guard here? Is the question. What am I gonna get? Masochistic! Of course, on the 0 HP character! Nice. Okay, do I go for the guard or do I go for the bellow? Because if I guard, they just stun me. That's the problem. But I'll have prod. And there is a chance I live. There is a chance I live if they don't stun me. There is a chance I live, then I'll be able to self-heal, and then I'll be able to maybe even drop another Zealous. Oh, if only you were... Please don't get this stun, please don't get this stun. Come on. Oh, I love playing against WD. I just love playing against WD. It's so wonderful, isn't it? It's just such a wonderful experience. Of course, Abusive is like... They got the 3 best afflictions in the Butcher Circus. They can't do anything bad. They don't pass. They don't go for act outs. They Abusive doesn't even move forward, apparently. Usually, I thought it did, but I don't think it does. Yeah, Hopeless moves forward, but it's a little too late. And now I don't even have Bellow, because I got stunned while guarding. They're doing 6 damage. Oh, it's so ridiculously close. Come on, self-hit. Freaking masochistic. Doesn't do anything for me. Literally nothing. Is this even considered an affliction? Why? Why is this affliction so just decent? Why can't it do anything worse than what it actually does? Okay, they're gonna rally to the flame. I don't get my turn yet. I do have 80 prot. You get a crit heal on it. Oh my god, please. I should not lose this match. Oh, I feel so sad. I genuinely feel so sad here. They're gonna transform. Okay. And you're gonna go for the rage. 3 damage. Yeah, it tickles. They get to bleed on it though. Yeah, it tickles me a little bit more than that. It's unbelievable that this person does not run Mark for Death. I want a rematch on this. I really do. I probably won't have it, but I'm hoping that I do. And now they go for the caltrips, the round 7 caltrips. Okay, I see how it is. I don't think there's a chance I win anymore, unless Hopeless does 0 damage with Bola when she's the last character alive, and I somehow manage to take out all these characters all on my own. It would be really cool, let me tell you that much, but yeah, it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. Decides to go first with Hopeless, so that's minus 20% damage right there. Goes for the bullet just for the knockback, I guess. And now it's just gonna be a rage into a finish him, and of course, I mean, there's literally nothing bad that can happen here. For the 3rd time, masochistic self-mark, another crit heal with Rally to the Flame, and I am just forced to watch as my team slowly dies one by one, with WD just being WD, I guess. This is why most people don't like playing against it. Okay, a bit of stress, but honestly at this point, yeah, I could get a kill here. I could get like 1 kill. But Abusive literally can't do anything bad, so it doesn't really matter too much. Goes for the finish him, stress heal on everyone as well, of course. Come on, give me the Fearful Pass. And yeah, of course I'm not gonna get a dodge either. My Grave Robber had 54 dodge, and the come hitter still hit me with 128 accuracy. It was like a 70, the shot was like a 70 as well, and it got a crit too. So I usually say that, it's why I've said before that you shouldn't be able to crit in round 1. You know, no one can crit in round 1, not just Mark teams. And you also shouldn't be able to crit under 70% accuracy, but you know, I'm making up rules for my own mistakes, so let's maybe go for a rematch and see if we can do better. Alright, and here we go, straight into a match number 2, but this time it is not WD most sadly. I queued up immediately, but unfortunately I didn't get matched up against the same person. Instead I got matched up against Brian. Hello Brian. And they have a Monkey Spy Abomination position 1, that's really based. I like it, I like what I see here. This is an oppressive Vestal, except it has Abomination instead of Crusader. That's a really interesting setup that they have going here. And I will say, this person is novice, but with a setup like this has to be some sort of literally a setup, because a novice player would not have this like at all. So we'll see about your noviceness, Mr. Opponent. But you know that they did go for somewhat of a mistake here, because now I can slam that Abomination to version 4. Of course, I have a 75% chance to even hit, but oh, I do get the 75 to hit, and I do get the 75 to push. So I'm immediately punishing my opponent for their misplays. Hooray! Hooray for that! And this is why the Abomination is kind of a weird pick in an oppressive Vestal team like this, because he's much squishier than the Crusader. He doesn't have heals onto the other characters, his stun isn't quite as damaging. He's just kind of a weird character. He also doesn't have Holy Land, so it's definitely a weird place for him to be in. Now, I do have a lot of protection here, that's true, but it's not going to matter at all against the Pierce, and the Highman can still go for the open vein. Of course, against the Repulsed, it's kind of a who cares situation, but do I go command buff? That is my question. Do I go command buff or do I just Bella? Oh, just Bella. Ah, 2 misses. Of course I get 2 misses. Oh, 112 accuracy and I miss against 30 dodge. Oh boy. Here we go again. Here we go again. You know, there's one reason I bring the Eerie Eye. I'm still tilted from the previous matches, as you can probably notice. It does happen. We do get tilted from one match to another. If that happens to you, you should take a breather. But since I'm trying to game here and make the Flazen Strats look like a very pog team, I'm just going match after match. So the Crusader is going to get exposed, so that's going to be a lot of plus crits received, but honestly I don't mind it all that much at this point. I'm just going to go for the best hit chance. I really hate going for like 83% hit chances with the Grave Robber's Panic Darts because you always miss them. And it feels horrible when you miss those 83s and those sort of numbers. It really does suck, especially in a ability like Panic Darts, where like having 2 of them basically means the character drops to death's door and also goes afflicted. Yeah. Okay, they're gonna do that, so I'm gonna de-transform and go for the V-Spile while I still can. And here their Abomination is really in a weird spot now, because if they go V-Spile, they have to hit into my Repulse, which is gonna hurt. If they want to stun, they have to stun into the Repulsed, or into a really bad chance, or into an already stunned character, so that's kind of pointless. And if they want to transform, the only move they can do is slam, and if they slam the Abomination, they still get Repulsed, and it's likely they don't do anything with it. And if they slam the Crusader, then they will have to PBS into a Repulsed, so maybe they want to PBS first and then go for the slam on the Crusader, just put him into position 4, but no, they click the Abomination. What are they going to do with him? Let's see, they're going to go for the stun on the Abomination, on my Abomination after all. Do they get it? Of course they do. Not a guaranteed chance whatsoever, but you know, they do go for it, so kudos and hooray to them, I guess. I'm gonna go for the bell here. I have to make this Highman absolutely tickle, so let's go for it. And we do apply the debuff. Wonderful. Less damage for these characters means my characters stay alive for longer. And you can see this is a really good situation to be in if you're playing the Blazing Stress. You're playing against a team that just likes to bully opponents that don't have a lot of protection. It can kind of just pull them and just hit them again and again and again. And no matter how many heals you have, it usually just does enough damage to bully you and stun you. And yeah, speaking of stuns, 3, not 1, not 2, 3 stuns from my opponents, so that's a whole lot of fun, but yeah, what can I do about it? It's honestly not too bad in this situation, because, you know, they stun me, but they also stun themselves while they do it. So it's honestly okay. They're gonna go for the open vein on the Abomination. They want to focus down on the squishiest character on my side of the team, so it does make sense. It is a sensible move to go for that. So I will do the exact same thing. I will focus your Vestal down, and then you'll have no heals on your team, because she's pretty much the only healer now. And once she's gone, you know my Panic Darts are gonna be absolutely crazy to bring my opponent down. Once they go down to 0, they won't be able to get away from 0, and then they're gonna be at death's door. They're gonna be taking way more stress, and this is gonna be really difficult for my opponent to win. It would have been really difficult for my opponent to win the previous match as well, but I kind of threw myself under the bus. So let's not mention it any longer. The Grave Robber is gonna get pulled to position 2, that's perfectly okay. I'm just gonna go Shadow Fade, and the next turn I'm gonna hit even harder. So we kind of just do a trade of actions here that's very much beneficial to me, but your opponent has D-Stealth. Haha, but Expose only reaches position 3. Is a Shield Breaker? No, she doesn't need Exposed to reach position 4. It's already crazy that she has Puncture. She doesn't need Exposed to... I mean, it would be helpful to have it Exposed to reach position 4, but it would be kind of broken. Yeah, kind of. Okay, that is annoying, to say the very least. I could heal here to clear the debuff. Yeah. Let's clear the debuff, I've had enough of it. Let's just do this and do a little bit of healing on both characters. With the protection, it's quite helpful. So I'm hoping that this will be the way to go here, the way to keep my Crusader alive for longer. Because if I just hit crit PBS right now for like how much would it hit me for? I'm not entirely sure, but probably like a 55, probably like 11, maybe a crit for 11. Then I would be down to like 11 HP or 12 HP, and that wouldn't be too good. So yeah, still 3 stunned characters, so I guess now I just to pass wars once again. Not really voluntary pass wars, but you know, I just have to accept them. They're gonna go for the PBS now. Yeah, it only hits for 7. That's perfectly okay. I'm still quite alive. I will be able to transform again and maybe go for a slam on the High Man. Wait, how did their abomination land at 4? What did they do? Did I? What? How did that happen? How did the Avon land at 4? What did this person do with the moves and all that? The Abomination landed in position for another 4-stone self-heal. That's really not what you want, let me tell you that much. But it is what they got, so I guess now I'm just gonna do battle debuffs. I could try to use my action before I get stunned again, but I'm praying that the stun resistance will be enough, and I'll still be able to transform and go for something. You might be wondering, shit, why aren't you using your freaking command buffs? They have 50 dodge, 15 dodge, 0, but who cares? And the 20 dodge here. You could be using your debuffs. Yeah, but I'd rather just Bellow. It's still quite likely to hit, and to be using command buffs here and passing turns when I could very well just be hitting other characters just doesn't really make too much sense to me. So I'm just gonna do what I'm doing already. I'm gonna transform here, and I'm gonna try going for a rage on the High Man, I think, just to put him in check here, to quite a big amount of damage on him. So if I decide to drop a Panic Dart, he's pretty much down to 0 already, so that's quite good. Another thing that I do have going for me is that the Grave Robber is ready to drop a huge Panic Dart on that Vestal, so I will be looking forward to it. Now, speaking more of this Flaze and Stress team, is this the trinkets and the setup that Flazen himself uses? Not quite. He uses quite a lot of different things, honestly. And what are those different things, Shepherd Doggy? Well, for starters, I think Grave Robber has both Satchel and Leather Bandolier, or Monkey Spot and Leather Bandolier. I know he doesn't agree with my setup, even though I agree with my own setup. I think it's the best one, but he does not agree with me quite so much, which is saddening. But you know, what can you do about it? Different people have different points of view, and while I think this is the best, he doesn't think so. I think this is the best because you're not always going to be using command buffs, so you need the reliability in terms of the plus 18 accuracy that this setup gives you. It also gives you Blight skill chance, which is quite nice. It gives you a bit of stress stealth, and it gives you relatively good amounts of dodge. But of course, if you're planning to use command buff anyway, like for sure use command buff, then you don't. Then you can just bring Leather Bandolier and you'll be fine. Because really, the thing that this is most valuable for is the accuracy. You shouldn't really be considering that, oh, the 20 blight skill chance is gonna make the difference. You already have 140. If you're gonna think like, oh, but I want to be able to blight abominations, you shouldn't be blighting abominations. You should be blighting crusaders and men-at-arms and in this case vestals, not abominations or even plague doctors. That's why you typically have like a flagellant in your team. You bleed the bleed weakness characters and you blight the blight weakness characters. You don't do it the other way around. You don't just try to brute force your way into blighting the blight resistant characters. That's not a very good strategy. But yeah, this Grave Robber setup, all the abilities are perfectly fine. Having Toxin Trigger here is quite cool in case you drop a counter, so you can just do this and then you have brutal amounts of dodge if you do decide to drop a bolster, which against stress teams is quite helpful, I will say. And in terms of heals, you actually only have one. You have literally one heal, apart from the Abomination's self-heal, of course. You just have the Crusader's Rally to the Flame, which is better than having no heals. It's definitely not a lot, but your tankiness doesn't really come from having like 2 healers and someone to apply regen or something like that, or even Flagellant with his big heals. You just have a really small heal, and your tankiness comes from your big health pools and your big amounts of protection. So you might be seeing where I'm going with this. What do you do when you go against DOT teams? Well, it's kind of where our setup differs. I think that he runs Rancid Q-Roll on this Man-at-Arms to give himself a little bit more resistances, and runs Rancid Q-Roll, and I think the Pit Fighter's Helm as well. He used to run Protector's Kite and Pit Fighter's Helm, so like full-on protection, crazy amounts of HP, but I felt I was a little bit overdoing it, and still not quite as helpful as he imagined it to be, because no matter how much protection you have, Arbol still exists, so yeah, kind of annoying that that happens. And of course, they can just go for all their characters and then kill your Man-at-Arms at the end. That's just perfectly okay. And Ollie's very tanky, he doesn't have debuff chances, he doesn't have accuracy, he doesn't even have stun resistance if you're on that setup, so I honestly kind of disagree with it. Rancid Cure all perfectly fine, but I like this setup. It allows me to bellow against teams like WD. It's a very favorable matchup against WD. It's just my bad that I lost, so I just have to suck it up here. Now, as we all know, and as I hope you know, what do I have in advantage to my opponent here? I have a character advantage. What do you do when you have a character advantage? Well, you make sure that you use your extra number of turns for good use. So if I have 4 actions and my opponent only has 3, if they have to drop me to their store with 1 and I can heal out of their store with 1, I'm simply winning. So I will go for that, of course. Now, the Abomination obviously has, you know, all the same abilities, you can't really change that. But in terms of the rest of his setup, he brings... Oh, I could guard, but yeah, there could be a punisher, it doesn't really matter, I'd rather just go for the Afflictions here. He has the Wrench's Cloak. Obviously, there's no world where you don't bring Wrench's Cloak on the stress team. It just does way too much harder, and accuracy and stress dealt. Like this trinket is beyond broken. Let me click it when you know when the ring mommy lets me. So you know, whenever you're ready. There we go. The Wrench's Cloak just does way too much horror duration. The amount of horror you get out of this from your transformations, it's just way too good to pass up on. You cannot pass up on this, so don't even think about it. And for a second trinket, you can kind of bring whatever you want. You can bring Net if you like it to go for the potions. That's perfectly okay. Very helpful against Flagellants as well, which this team does struggle with. If you want to go for a bit of tankiness with like Clash of the Beast, you can also do that. But I'm just running Spike Chain here, so I have that robust availability against the DOT teams, because I don't have the Rancid Cure rolls. So if I were to run against DOT, I would really need the repulse to kind of just put a little bit of a halt on the enemy Antiquarian or whatever they're spamming DOT with. Maybe even a Jester or something of the likes. And the Crusader, I personally love this setup. Pit Fighter's Helmet of Execution, super tanky, very good stress dealer, plus 25 stress dealt on an already high stress amount ability, very nice. I think that he actually runs something crazy like, where is it? Something crazy like this with the Battle Scarred Helm. I can't tell for sure, but it's a very cool team. I will say that. If you want to try it out, definitely do. It's one of the best in the Witcher Circus. It only has a few bad matchups, which is if it goes against like against Chef Stress or something. Chef Stress would kind of like destroy this team. But if it goes against pretty much any DOT team like Goliath, Comp, WD, even Hit Squad, probably it would still win. So it is a very nice team in that sense. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you again another time. Cheers.